Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm sharing this fun circle celebration card as part of today's Global Stampin' Video Hop. Let's get started. For today's card, I'm going to be using the Circle Celebration stamp set. And we're going to start with a piece of basic white that's cut 4 by 5 1/4, and I've got my scrap paper here and Daffodil Delight ink pad, and I'm going to use the large distressed circle and stamping off. I'm going to create a random pattern all over this piece. And I want to make sure that there's going to be plenty of this showing through because we are going to layer over it. So I'm going to make sure that I've got something on all of my edges there in the Daffodil Delight. And then let's bring in the Granny Apple Green. And I've got this stamp with all the little dashed lines in it. And again, we're going to stamp all over with this, with the thought in mind that we're going to be layering over part of this, so we want plenty of this design to show. Come up here. And then before I'm completely done with this, I'm going to bring in my layer piece and make sure, so I want to add a little bit at the top and bottom here on that piece. Okay, and we're done with that. So next, we're going to bring that layering piece back in and start with my Bermuda Bay, and then the stamp that is just full of little dots, and create a random pattern on here in the dots. Just simple. Okay, and we'll set that out of the way. And let's close this up. And now we're done with my scrap paper, and we've got a little bit more stamping to do. So first, bring that Granny Apple Green back in, and this small flower from the stamp set. And I want 7 of these. Okay, now we're through with the Granny Apple Green, and bring in my Coastal Cabana, and let's see, so I want the flower that doesn't have a border. I want just 2 of these, and then let's bring in my Magenta Madness. And where is that last stamp? Here it is. And I want 4 of the Magenta Madness flowers. Okay, so now we're going to pause a moment while I cut these out, and then I'll be back to assemble. Okay, so we've got our small green flowers here, and those were cut with a retired 3/4 inch circle punch. And then I've got my 2 Coastal Cabana flowers. Those were cut with a 1-inch circle punch. And then these Magenta Madness flowers were cut with the layering circles. And I'm just going to take my snips and cut straight across one of the flowers. And now we're going to start and assemble. So I've got my Granny Apple green layer to go with this first piece that we stamped. And it is cut at 4 1/16 by 5 3/16. Is that right? No, 5 5/16. And it's just a little bit of border on here, a little micro border, just to pull that Granny Apple green on there and make it pop a little bit more. Okay, and then I've got a piece of Bermuda Bay, and it is cut at, make sure I did cut these correctly, yes, it is cut at 2 1/16 and 5 1/16. Okay, just making sure we're on here. So I'm taking it slow and using that little bit of wiggle room that we get. Okay, and then finally I've got a thick Whisper white base, and it is cut at the usual 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4. So because I'm going to be adding lots of dimension to the top, I'm actually going to adhere this first layer directly to my card base. And then let me grab my dimensionals and add those on this first layer. Oops. And let's pull those off. And we'll line this up. And then let's offset this just a little bit and make sure we're evenly spaced top to bottom. And I think I'm straight. Okay, so now it's time to add our other pieces. So let's add dimensionals under these. And then it's almost time for a new pack of dimensionals here. I've got my mini dimensionals as well. May use those on our Granny Apple green pieces. So let's go up here with this guy. Just checking to see how these are going to fit together before I add that second dimensional. Okay. Got to think about what I'm doing here. Okay. Our second dimensional on this one. And then this one that I cut in half. about to put it on there incorrectly. So we're going to stick that right in there. And I'm hanging over the edge just a little bit, so let me trim that out of the way. We'll put this one over here. And then this one, I want it to break the plane. So I'm going to double stack it on this outside edge. Oops. Okay. And now let's move the full-size dimensionals out of the way, and we're going to pop in some of these little green flowers. And this is much more interesting with all of these on dimensionals than it would be if it had just been stamped flat. We may pop this one up just a little bit higher, because I'd like it to be kind of in between and overlapping those two. Let's see if we can get that one to hang right on the edge. And same thing here, we're going to give this a second dimensional. And then tuck this one. I'm going to glue that one flat and let it break the plane. It's funny, you make the same card and it turns out a little different. Okay, there we go. So now it's time to add our sentiment. For the sentiment, I've used the mini messages bundle, and I've already stamped and die cut that. Now remember, when you purchase a bundle, you get a 10% discount over purchasing them separately. So I've got sending a smile your way, and then a strip of basic black cardstock, and I'm just going to add a little bit of multi-purpose glue down at the bottom of my sentiment here, and I want it right at the top of this strip, and let's see if, and slightly offset, you'll notice. Okay, and then I've got some of this Playing with Patterns ribbon. It's from a combo pack, and I'm just going to make a little folded over loop here. And let's add a glue dot. So we'll adhere those together, and then let's put a glue dot on the back here to stick it to our cardstock, and we'll add our little ribbon tab here. Okay, and then we're going to use the black Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm just checking to see how this is going to line up, to see how many dimensionals I'm going to need. So we're going to start with a single mini over there, and I need a double stack out here on the other end, and we're going to support it again in the center with a double stack. There's not much that's overlapping this center panel here. Okay. And let's just slide this in here and make sure my card is straight before I push my sentiment down. And then we're going to accent with some of the matte black dots, and let me take your pick tool, and we'll add these in a couple of places. And there we have our card. Thanks for stopping in today. Please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your card making friends. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell, you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Of course, all of today's supplies are available in my Stampin' Up shop, and I would love for you to do part of your Stampin' Up shopping with me if you're here in the US. And don't forget to click the link in the description below for the next video in today's Global Stampin' Video Hop. Have a great day. Bye.